I gotta say, ain't no place like home. And for me, this a place called home. In the this is for my city, my city. This is for my city, my city. This is for my city, my city. This is for my city, my city.
For the Dayton, Ohio's home. I'm just here today. Last night we lost one of our own, Kylie English. What I want to inform y'all to know is that sometimes things aren't what they appear to be. In this situation, we had a young man that was stopped on the highway, pulled over on the highway for DUI. Then apprehended by the cops, taken to a bridge where they say he busted his head out the window, jumped out the car, and jumped over the bridge, which seems highly unlikely. Handcuffed. And we just want to know, what do you guys think happened if the situation was, I called somebody, they said it sounds like the police threw him over the bridge, and I'm just saying that it's an opinion, but how do you guys feel about it in a home?
With us now, as we seek your justice, we love you today. We declare we love one another.
Thank you.
We come today in your name, that your will above all things would be done. We love you today. We thank you for hearing us. In Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Stay safe. Stay with your brother. Because no one of you.
Not true. I was coming across the bridge. I seen the officer. I seen the car stop. I seen the officer get out the car, open the car door. I seen Tyler jump out of the car, run across the bridge, and over the bridge. Went over the bridge. I seen it on an
ongoing investigation. I have tried to make that point multiple times. This will take time to complete. So it is not completed. We have a number of witnesses still to interview, police personnel, sheriff personnel, etc. So still all of that. We will not have all the information to come to any determination of who, what, when, where, and why this occurred. So we're still in the middle of it. We've only been into this about 4 days, and there's much more to be done.
Chief Bill, how long do you anticipate the investigation project?
I believe we'll have most of our investigation wrapped up within the next 2 to 3 weeks. However, we do need to include the coroner's results, and we don't control the so that needs to be included in the investigation as well. What's the typical time frame for coroner's results in evaluation? Should be around the same time frame. So we're looking at weeks, not months.
Somebody's busting and you gotta stop. There wasn't this going on in that video that stop. I gotta, he had to stop.
Dude was in the car the whole time the video was going on. Right. You didn't hear him talking.
He ain't trying to jump out or nothing.
You heard him sitting in the driver's seat.
So if you watch this, you can sit there and watch the man jump off the cliff.
This is
video from the car. When we got out, we should have heard outside noise.
What I'm saying, Diamond, is his speed is not connected to his car. We were looking at the video from the car. He's still sitting in the car saying, holy shit, my guy just, he's radioing the
another person.
You're not satisfied with the...
I really ain't satisfied with it. I mean, nothing that they said, the video that they just showed us does not describe actually what they're saying happened. You know what I'm saying? There's no way a 200-some-pound man can climb through that window and come back and dive to the ground, leap up, and get over the bridge before he's on the speaker saying, my man just jumped out of the window.
20 times and he ain't,
you know what I'm saying?
We can't bust the window.
And then why did we stop here? Why did we stop here? 20 seconds away from the jail. Why did we stop? You know what I'm saying? And then if I'm wrong, then I will say it in public that I'm wrong. there's no way you can get out of that window. I've been there before. There's no way.
Yeah, I just stood next to the window, and I got my doubts. Whether I might be able to squeeze out, but it would take some work. It wouldn't be able to be like a...
It'd be enough time for them to get out of the car and get around there to get me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then if I fail and I hit my head again, because that's the only way I can get out is by falling face first. You know what I'm saying? Then I'd have to roll over, get into a position where I can lean up against something, pull myself up, or get somebody help me up. Get someone help me up, and then I took off running. Somebody's got to give me an answer to that. How did I get up after I climbed out of the window?
You guys will be back in 3 weeks when the
I'll be here every day.
thing's done.
Whatever go on with this. My name is Uncle Walt. I got an organization called Mankind. You know what I'm saying? We help young kids in the community, all the neighborhoods. You know, we start with like the street soldiers, but we're different from the street soldiers. We go to the communities, we go to the clubs, we can do what we do.
Okay.
On the highway, right?
Vinay Payne, 1348 Harvard Boulevard. Good evening. Last week my focus was solely on our police department. Well, tonight I have decided to come at a totally different angle. It has come to my attention that so many things are being televised. Statistics, lies, terrorism, the fall of the economy, Bin Laden's death, the stripping of the First Amendment rights in Dayton, Ohio, that's been televised. Brother Kyler English's death is continuously being televised. Marnie Wilson's murder has been televised. But there's one thing that cannot and will not be televised. As some wise men said years ago, the revolution will not be televised. You will not be able to stay home. You will not be able to lose yourself and skip out for another drink or smoke during commercials. Because the revolution will not be televised. It's time for a change, and change is revolution. The media does not show African American youth gathering together to make positive things happen. The African American youth of Generation X are shown to be wild, loud, unruly, and uneducated. Well, we want you all to know that we are coming together and being productive to help build this city. We need you all to listen and hear us out. And most importantly, we need your assistance. We are putting together something like a 10-point program, putting together things that we think must be done. And we will not stop until we see a change, because the revolution will not be televised. It will be live. Thank you. Thank you.
Of property they can get their greedy hands on, and forgetting that we, the people, are the genuine engine that drives the economy, and not the 1% that currently are trying to possess everything in the world. This is not a local problem. It's not a state problem. It's not just a national problem. This is a global problem.
Within 25 feet away.
25 can't be heard at all. Within 25 feet.
25. That's the law. I'm telling you.
I mean, I can shout louder than that.
I understand, and loud speaking falls under that ordinance if it's disturbing. We're not trying to. I'm not trying to press you.
I understand. We're just
trying to give you information.
The line is
I'm trying to give you information to allow you to continue to do what you're doing, but doing it.
Appreciate that.
Theoretically, the bullhorn is
too much.
I want you guys to be able to get your message out, but there's guidelines that have to be followed.
You look really nervous holding
that
means,
I want you to get your message out, but you just have to be careful about what's going on, because people are complaining, and once the people start
we're complaining. Actually, we're complaining about this whole system. That's the point.
The protesters down here at Courthouse Square on fire outside.
So there's a wedding in the courthouse?
Yeah, in the old courthouse.
Yeah, I'll explain to you in a minute.
See, what I'm trying to get the point I'm trying to get across is that this is also a complaint. It's a people's complaint about what's been happening in our country and the rest of the world.
Yes, ma'am.
And so we're making a complaint, and maybe that could be enforced.
Well, your complaint, I don't have the...
Montgomery County is the property owner and issued the permit to the Downtown Dayton Partnership for the event. We respectfully ask for the cooperation of Occupy Dayton's members during setup of and during the event to ensure the safety and enjoyment of all parties involved. To help ensure a successful event for all parties, Montgomery County and the Downtown Dayton Partnership are requesting the following of the Occupy Dayton demonstrators. Am I supposed to stop if there's a question?
No, no, no.
No, ma'am.
I'm just trying to obey the rules.
Yes. Go ahead. Thank you very much.
Remove all tents and materials from Courthouse Square during the setup and the actual grand illumination during the time frame. Wednesday, I've got copies.
Okay, that's all.
I'm going to distribute these. During the time frame Wednesday, November 23rd at 9 a.m. till Friday, November 25th at 11 o'clock p.m.
Can you say those dates one more time?
Wednesday, November 23rd, the day before Thanksgiving, through Friday, November 25th at 11 o'clock. This isn't in the letter, but we will help you find a new location. Do not obstruct the view of any performances on the main stage, views of the parade on 2nd, Main, and 4th Streets. Do not interfere with the people's ability to enjoy and hear the performances, meaning no bullhorns. Help us ensure safety by removing any signage on sticks or poles that could potentially be dangerous. Montgomery County has allowed you to occupy a portion of Courthouse Square for approximately 1 month. We do not foresee any change in this position after the holiday festival. This allowance is conditional upon your lawful, safe, and sanitary actions. We look forward to a successful grand illumination event and working together for the common good of the community. I could just finish the proposal on the table.
Okay, so what is the proposal? So clear specific
all right,
wording.
Clearly, point by point. We would like you to move from Wednesday at 9 o'clock in the morning till 11 o'clock on Friday night. Number
you guys
two,
will help us move. You will find a place for us to
well,
go.
that's
let her get the clear wording out.
What location we would suggest for those 3 days is that we move you to Dave Hall Plaza. It's on Main Street and it's visible on the corner of 4th and Main.
Okay.
Third point, we will, you want a presence at the event, we will give you an information table. I will print a banner to hang on that table. You can distribute information to anybody that comes to you.
I can do that anyway. That sounds good.
I know you can, sir.
We're going to come back with you.
Never mind. I'm on stack.
And we're just asking, that way you have a presence.
Yes.
This and I
that's
know
really what we're looking for
Is that
to continue
is that the proposal?
that is the proposal.
But let's just start the do not obstruct the view of any performers. We don't think we plan on doing that anyway. Do not interfere with people's ability to enjoy the performances. I don't think we're going to do that, or bullhorns. That's pretty easy. Ensure the safety of removing signage on sticks. Pretty sure we can take the signs with sticks and put them somewhere else. As far as staying here or moving, we're going to have to defer until next Saturday's GA when the whole group is here.
This Saturday's GA.
This Saturday's GA, that's correct.
It might not happen.
That's all I have to say.
That's all right.
We're going to have a Saturday GA.
Yeah.
So
we're tabling this discussion until next Saturday, where we have a large.
Yeah.
okay,
They get to make their point.
let's go on this side. Right side.
All right. I think the city of Dayton and Montgomery County have been very, very thoughtful in their proposal. I think that's a great opportunity for us to showcase the movement, inform and educate the people, and try to gather more support from the community. I think it's a great opportunity to do that. I don't think we necessarily need the tents there to make us. I don't think this is the place to make the stand.
This is not a battle.
Can I rebut? We're not making a stand right now. This is like you're just building this.
Well,
we don't want to make a stand.
Nobody
Right
has the right to give us the opportunity for a First Amendment right. We have the right to be here.
One person at a time.
You're still going to be here. You're going to have a booth.
being unproductive. I'm done.
So what? I'm sorry that I'm not aware of what I'm supposed to do when we're at the place.
We are not supposed to negotiate with city officials or any government people whatsoever, according to OWS, who we claim to stand in solidarity with. Do not fuck with my First Amendment right. I am one. I am 99%. I am not going to negotiate with anybody.
this evening.
Correct.
I would suggest that we
Read the
gather.
solidarity of Occupy Wall Street, GA. Read the solidarity with Occupy Wall Street, GA. Read the solidarity with Occupy Wall Street, GA. Read the solidarity of Occupy Wall Street, GA. Read the solidarity of Occupy Wall Street, GA. Read the solidarity of Occupy Wall Street, GA.
Thank you, Strom Thurmond.
Thank you.
No, but really, that's why we're here.
So I feel like there needs to be more discussion. I don't feel like any proposal is going to come to anything in any consensus tonight.
There's no proposal.
Lewis,
She's
can
not
we
a city
please
official.
do what we came here to do? You can yell at everyone later.
So I say we table this until next Saturday. Let's please have discussion to go on, and we have to come back to some. That is what our consensus is about. That is what we are here for. Is to come to some type of idea that we can live with and do. So.
We are the 99%. That's consensus right now.
Who's on 99%?
We are the 99%. We are the 99%.
Somebody's not going to like to hear what I have to say, then I shouldn't be down here. I'm not being threatened, and I'm not threatening anyone else. So now I'm done.
Next option would to take the 3 days and go and occupy Oakwood, because that's the image of the 1%.
We would get arrested so fast.
That's one option, rather than to go down the street here.
Sorry, when you're shot.
The question is a question of strategy. It's not a question of our rights or protest. It's a question of strategy. We are providing social tension right now by having Occupy Dayton. We have a lot of support in the city. The city is made up of the 99%ers. The city government is not against us. The mayor's come and visited us. The police are sympathetic to us. Why make this our issue of social conflict? Why not keep the social tension and work that way? I would recommend you read this book, Reclaiming Evolution. It's one of Sean's books from that committee. And it has a chapter on social tension and a chapter on social conflict. It's a question of strategy. And I don't think this is the time to fight the fight.
Right.
Thank you.
She is really not a... So she's more a lobbyist than anything else coming down here. So So that's what she's coming down here to do. She's here to lobby from the city. Look, I understand you want to, but you keep giving everybody dirty looks when they interrupt everybody else, so don't interrupt me. So, what we are doing is we are going to accept a lobbyist who is one of our main points to get rid of in the government. And we're actually going to listen to this? Yeah. Woo! That's all I have to say.
Who she lobbied for?
Okay, our next point.
We're on 2nd Street, and who am I with here?
Alicia Schwartz.
Okay, you're from the city of Dayton?
Yes, we are.
Okay, you're out here, and you're out here early. Tell me what the Christmas parade and the Grand Illumination means to you.
It means tradition for us. We come out here every year, and it's something the kids look forward to. So.
Okay, what's it mean? What's it? Does your mother know you're doing that behind her head, giving her rabbit ears? Do you like the Grand Illumination? That's what you're at right now. Yeah, the parade. Do you like Christmas? All right. Anything else you'd like to say to anybody out there in the universe?
Merry Christmas, and I hope we all have peace this year.
Exactly.
Going
Second reading, emergency resolution number 5857-11, accepting the Welcome Dayton Plan. Mayor Lightsoe. Aye. Commissioners Lovelace. Aye. Joseph. Aye. Whaley. Aye.
4-0. How did that make you feel?
Oh, very good. I've been part of this advocacy, and we have been engaging the city officials about welcoming immigrants and refugees. We particularly want to create this culture of hospitality in our city. We work with the faith community, especially to receive refugees from Africa and to integrate them in the city and make a contribution to our community.
All right. Anything else you'd like to say?
I would like to say that we will continue to work with the city to make it happen, to implement the plan, and we are going to mobilize our communities to invest, to start micro-enterprises, self-employment, and also to share our cultural values.
Do you think Dayton's just about set to get a whole lot more interesting?
Yes, I believe, divisions don't make sense anywhere. So diversity is strength. And we welcome this plan because it opens doors. Yeah. Globalization is here to stay, and we need to be a global city.
Things have changed. We've got a global economy, right? We have to compete on a global basis. All leading cities of great wealth, cities of great culture, all have great diversity in terms of citizens, residents, culture, and Dayton has taken a major step forward. It's implemented what I think is the best practice as it relates to immigrants and refugees, so I'm proud.
All right. Anything else you'd like to say?
That's it. There's a lot of benefit beyond the cultural. I think one of the big benefits, which hasn't been touted as much as it will, that I'm actually involved in, is the economic development, the business development, entrepreneurship, and the job creation. Stay tuned. You'll hear more about it.
All right. Thank you so much.
Well, it means a great deal to me. I live close by, and I can drive over here in 5 or 10 minutes to mail my mail. And there's a lot of folks that live in my neighborhood do not have cars. They would have to catch the bus or get someone to bring them over. And I think it would be really sad if they would close the Dunbar post office. And it's really a lifesaver in our neighborhood. We really need to. It seems like everything else is going out of the neighborhood, but we really need the post office.
They're supporting these young folks that's out here fighting for our post office. Dayton is too big of a metropolitan to have just one grocery store, Kroger's, and one postal service. You can go to small cities like New Lebanon, Germantown, and things of that, and they have one post office and one grocery store. In order to revive Dayton and to keep our property values up, we must have businesses and places where businesses can do their mailings and things of that nature. So we do ask you to please, ma'am, please, sir, get out and sign these petitions. Notify your Congressman Michael Turner to please support H.R. 1351, the bill that will help the Postal Service not have to pre-fund for future retirees' health care. They're paying for retirees who haven't even been born yet, 75 in the future. So we ask you to please ask Michael Turner, our Congressman, to support this because we need to keep these jobs and also this organization in our community. Thank you.
I think you spoke to City Commission the other night. Have you heard from any other commissioners?
All the commissioners so far have backed us. We're still trying to get a word from our Honorable Mayor, Honorable Lightsoe, so we can get his support and all our congressmen we will greatly appreciate it, because this is the west side of Dayton. We're proud of being from the west side of Dayton, and we deserve to have a post office, grocery stores, eateries, and things of that nature.
You talk to any other business owners in the area?
Every business in the West Town Shopping Center understand the importance of having a postal service and how the customers come to do their mailings, and then while they're here, they also can get something to eat. They can go shopping at Aldi's or go next door, do their banking needs. So they understand the importance of the postal service here for this shopping center, let alone the west side of Dayton. Right now, the postal service is under, they're saying that they're just doing a study. So as long as they're doing a study, we're going to keep on doing our grassroots action until they finally make an announcement and take Paul Lawrence Dunbar, the VA post office off their list. The VA is there to help the veterans. There are veterans across the street who don't have legs or any transportation, and it'll be very hard for them to make it all the way to Dayton View to do their mailing.
Dr. Selvin Anamali, who is currently running a Mexican-Indian eatery. And people go in and they eat and they use their debit card or credit card, and then he charges them, takes money off of their card and puts it on his card. I came because the city is very familiar with Mr. Alamali because he has been in business for probably a year or so on Olive Road. He's defrauded people by holding their possessions hostage. He has had a history prior to coming to Dayton in Georgia. So it wasn't that the city didn't know who I was talking about. The mayor knows he's a fraud, and everybody knows he's a fraud. So I wanted to assist this lady to let her know that SCLC would do everything we could to put him out of business, but I wanted to let the commission know what we were about to do.
Good evening, everyone. I'm probably the person that you're talking about, the same thing Dr. Selvin, whatever his name is, did to me. And I don't have a lot to say. I don't understand how he's allowed to be in different states and committing the same crime over and over again. Now he's in Dayton, Ohio. I don't understand why he's allowed to open up these businesses continuously. I'm going to say this because I'm just being honest with this from the heart, but I have struggled for the past year to make ends meet because I'm a single woman again. And the economy is already rough. For him to take $890 out of my account and leave me $5 after I put in so much overtime just to try to help ends meet, I think it's terrible. And I think it's terrible that he's allowed to continue to operate the way he's operating and nobody's doing anything about it.
This evening?
Rochelle O'Connor from Wright State University.
Okay. And you just came up that issue 2, it had 63 to 17. I'm not sure if that was exactly. It was a pretty small amount of precincts reporting. But what's that say to you, and how do you feel about that?
I think the people are they're mad. They're angry. I mean, this is a reflection of what's going on with like Occupy Wall Street. I was telling someone today, these are the most exciting times in my lifetime. With what's going on with Occupy Wall Street and repealing Senate Bill 5, I think the people are finally getting their voices heard.
Anything else you'd like to say about issue 2? I mean, you've done a lot of work.
I'm a teacher. My dad's a retired police. My brother's police. My mother was a nurse. And I think it's great that we're all banding together.
I'm Bruce Osborne. I'm with the Dayton FOP. And I just want to say I want to thank everyone who worked very hard on this campaign. It was a concerted effort by all the different organizations and all the working class people. I know that's a winner tonight. It's just how big the win will be that will send the governor a message. All right? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a great night.
It's an extraterrestrial groove. And what I mean by that is tapping in, to a real psychic groove, basically. The pocket is just entirely different from what normal musicians play. Mm-hmm. So, that's what funk basically is.
had a concern about panhandling in the city and how it's affecting quality of life and businesses. So tell your story.
Well, it kind of started first week of September last year. I had a family come in from Fort Wayne, Indiana, and they spent the day here. You know, they bought a set of shoes for the little girls, and they spent quite a bit of money, a little over $350. They ordered out pizza from the pizza factory, and they had lunch here. They spent the day. Pretty much everything that downtown Dayton wants. You know, people coming in and spending the day down here and spending their money. And on their way out, they were confronted by I shouldn't say confronted, but they were solicited by a panhandler. Mm-hmm. The father was taken back. He stepped in between the panhandler and his children. I wouldn't say the guy was aggressive, but he was kind of startling. I came out to shoo him away, so to speak, and he pulled out a City of Dayton panhandler's permit. There was literally nothing I could do. Mm-hmm. And I haven't seen that family back since. You know, I'm a resident down here as well. I've just kind of grown accustomed to the panhandling. And that really kind of got to me. I'm thinking, I can't be the only business downtown that's having to tolerate this. It's simply not good for business. You see the city now just putting out little fires with the panhandlers or the drunks that roam around downtown. They just had that situation over CBS down on the square. Mm-hmm. You know, they round them up for city folk and for urban nights just to get them out of downtown. I think there's just a better way to deal with this than just putting out small fires. I wrote a letter to the mayor explaining to him what happened and my concerns about the city. He wrote back saying that they can't arrest everybody, and I understand that. So I did a little research on the internet and found out how other communities are dealing with this. San Francisco, there's a district in San Francisco where it initially started. They took old parking meters and put signage on them saying, "Don't give to the panhandlers. If you want to help, put it in this meter and we'll distribute it to outreach programs and shelters around the neighborhood." And the panhandling fell off by 80%. I think this is an idea that could work in downtown. I think it's panhandling in the city of Dayton is really kind of an elephant in the living room. No one wants to deal with it.
Here with Brad Darrell, you're the manager of Glenn Scott's tattoo team down here on 5th Street.
Yes, sir.
And we're going to talk about panhandling. Carl Williamson, the owner of Urban Crag, has I just told you about some of his ideas to curb the problem, and you just talked to me in this conversation we just had that panhandling is a big problem down here in the city. Do you feel, what kind of, I mean...
I do feel like it's a big problem. I've been down here for 13 years. I've watched it get worse. It got better when they started putting security down here, but unfortunately the Oregon District couldn't afford to keep up with security, so I watched it get worse again, and I think it's probably at its worst right now. And what I feel it's doing is keeping people that actually have money away from the district because they're intimidated, they're getting scared by these aggressive panhandlers. I understand if you can't have a job, if you have problems, you know, working with your disability, but there's programs that can help you with that. You don't come down here and harass people. They're here to have a good time for money. They get scared and automatically just give them money. And then they don't come back down here because they were approached in the wrong way and they don't want to be bothered.
Yeah, I think they're saying that you're going to be allowed to stand here without a sign.
No, well, do you think without a sign?
That's what a cop told me.
Really? Anyway, if you'd like to talk to us about the issue.
Now I'm going to be in the paper.
Well, people take your picture anytime they go by. You guys are all on the internet already.
I don't give a fuck. I don't want to be on the fucking newspaper.
Well, you don't need to stand out in public.
Thanks.
No problem. Now I'm trying to get an interview from her. Would you like to speak about the panhandlers? No? Are you against the panhandlers? What's that? You're gonna break my camera? Is that a threat? Panhandlers, a lot of business owners and residents. I just wanted to get a comment, see what you thought about the new ordinance. You don't need to threaten to break my camera.
I've read about the parking meter idea. We've brought it forward. I think that that's really key in the conversation is having social services involved. And I think that that's really where we want to put the effort in. That's going to take a partnership with the social service agencies, and we need some folks to get together to do that.
Is it going to be possible to make panhandling illegal from I take it they're probably dealing with constitutional issues, First Amendment issues, and I think maybe people need to know the city has to step lightly around everything they do. I mean,
right. We respect the American Constitution in Dayton, Ohio, too. So that's important to us. But we also want to keep vibrancy in the city of Dayton, and there's a balance there. And so I think that panhandling has become a bigger issue. I've noticed it ticking up these past couple
everybody
of years.
notices it. You can see it, around. And I think the biggest complaints we've got are, and I've got the same thing. I've had guys with $200 Nikes come up to me and try to bum cigarettes or money. I'm like, no.
Right, and we're really trying to encourage people to give to our social service agencies. They are in need. They need, there is a true need out there. You'll see a lot of the stuff we've done the past couple months, the single serve rules that we've tried to work with CVS and Stop and Save, were actually because of panhandling.
Well, is there enough social services then that there really shouldn't be an excuse to panhandle in the city of Dayton?
I don't think there's ever like social services right now are at a critical need. So it's very hard to say, oh, everything is taken care of, because that's just not the case.
Okay.
So I don't think you can say that.
Okay.
But I do think that a lot of people are panhandling not for basic needs.
That seems to be
That's the issue. And so if we can give people options to give money where basic needs will be served, I think that would be helpful.
I was talking to a guy the other night. I'm like, how many of the panhandlers are legitimate? And he said, well, about 10%, to be honest with you, in this district. There may be different places around town, but this was in the Oregon district. Is there anything that the city can do beyond this?
That's very difficult, and I think that's why I really, told the mayor tonight that we need to have a conversation that's more broad and more holistic about it than just picking up loopholes. I think this is a good first step, that we need to work on the medians, because it is a safety issue too. It's not just an issue of vibrancy, but also safety on the road. But we have to look at the whole issue as a whole.
And an image for, like, you come in off the ramp and you've got people on every corner.
Well, it's dangerous.
That, and you think you've arrived in the apocalypse.
I don't know about that.
Perez.
Okay, and you live here on Vine Street.
Yeah, I live on the corner, almost at the corner of 23 Vine Street.
Okay, and you got a couple little guys out here playing in front of the house.
Yep.
And how do you feel about Miami Valley Hospital's plans to put a parking lot in on this corner over here?
I don't approve of it, because I've got little kids, as you see yourself, they're out here playing, and that's going to come with a lot of traffic, and then my kids are not going to be able to play out here. Right now, for the most part, there's not a lot of traffic, and it's pretty safe for them to be out here.
Yeah, we got bicycles coming down the street, and it's pretty mellow.
All day long like that. There's all kinds of different kids in this area, all different age groups, and they ride their bikes up and down. Some skateboard, some ride their scooters, some roller skates, and that's going to be a big problem with all the cars coming in and out.
That'll be all the time, won't it?
Exactly. Like right now, even though we're off of Main Street, it's not a really busy street.
Yeah.
With that parking lot coming in, yeah, it's going to be really rough for these kids. I don't want it at all.
Jean Doherty.
Jean Doherty?
Mabel Brown.
Mabel Brown, you're a longtime resident of Vine Street.
57 years.
Okay, and what are your feelings on the proposed Miami Valley parking lot at the end of the street? Not good, huh?
I think it shouldn't be done. I see no reason that, I see no reason in it.
Mm-hmm.
They're just taking up more space is all, and I was over there a couple of days ago, and it doesn't look to me like there's, you know, it would do anything for them. It'll do a lot against us.
Yeah, it's not really that big of a parking lot or space as far as to...
The space is not, no.
So you don't feel the use of that space is worth like the damage it'll do to the community?
Right, yes.
Yeah.
That's the way I felt when I was over there looking at it, and it just looked to me like they're just taking up space that just to take it up.
Okay.
You know, not for any good reason.
If you could send a message to city commissioners right now about how they vote, what would you tell them?
Well, my personal opinion on it would be, I see no sense in it, and I don't know why they would vote for it, just to tear up our neighborhood.
We're here with Janet and on Vine Street in Dayton, and I first came to know about you through you had spoken at a city hall meeting about, or a city commission meeting, I'm sorry, about Miami Valley's plans and wants to construct a parking lot in your neighborhood, and tell me about that and what's going on now.
Well, Miami Valley Hospital has managed to get rezoning for this parking lot that they claim they need, though they've never substantiated any numbers supporting that need for parking. And we are down to the last two hurdles that they have to cross before they can start up with the construction. It's been a very frustrating process because people have not been critical of their request in any way. They said we need parking. No one asked them how much they had or how they came to know that they needed it. They just said they needed it, and the city's position has been we need to support these businesses in our community, period. We have a small residential neighborhood here that's been struggling for a long time, but it is still a community. And we have kids on the block. We are going to be bringing a lot more traffic. Vine Street would be this way where we are now.
Yeah, here, let me get this a little closer to here. This is a plan of the parking lot that's to come in. I think that's just about right. And
so this residential street will have traffic coming in from both ends that will go right over there across the street, down an alley, and into this proposed parking lot. It's a street that's 3 cars wide where most people park on the street to begin with, and there have been no traffic studies done, which you would ordinarily have before you put in a parking lot like this. And no one's been willing to answer the questions as to why that hasn't been done either. Really frustrating.
This evening's Dayton City Commission meeting of August 31st, 2011, we got a chance to talk to Dayton City Commission candidate William Pace about his plans, if elected to City Commission, his thoughts on what need to be done to improve the city. And as well, we asked Mr. Pace about the 40 civil suits that came up when we did a court record search of his name. And seeing that all of the cases that we looked at regarded financial disputes between Mr. Pace's business or Mr. Pace and another entity, we thought it would be a fair question to ask him. Tell us what you think about Mr. Pace's response by leaving a comment below. Someone's going to answer, might as well be me.
Okay.
Okay. I was going through the court records, like looking for William Pace. Like I knew I'm going to be interviewing him tonight. Like civil records. And different situations, and they seemed all to be, I didn't read, there was no time for me to read all of them, but they seemed all to be related to properties, and they're all civil suits.
Properties, what, like housing properties or something? Well, I haven't had rental property for over 20 years, so I don't know. You might have been looking at something back 2 decades ago.
Okay. I've been told you for bankruptcy?
I have not.
Okay.
No.
Kate, are you going to
Well, there's a lot of erroneous information out there. You know.
Is there anything you have to say about any of your public court records?
No, not really. I think if you look into most people's files, you'll probably find a lot in their records.
Citizen, and you made a real good point to me just a second ago. Tell me.
I live in the Dayton city limits. I could have a tiger, a lion, or a bear, but I can't raise chickens or have a rooster for food. Why is that? Why? I have an 8-foot fence. I could have a chicken, I could build a coop, I have a big yard, but I'm not allowed to have that. Why?
But you can have
I could have a cougar.
A cougar, or I know there's some dog breeds now that are as large as like a small horse.
Maybe I could have a little horse.
Yeah, I can't think of the name of the dog right now. I'll look it up. It's an Italian fighting dog. One of them killed a child a few years back. I mean,
I could raise pit bulls.
But you can't keep chickens.
But I can't have a rooster.
I can see why you couldn't have a rooster because of noise, but you can't have hens.
Lay eggs. Feed my children.
Yeah.
Which would be, why? It's insane.
And shanking. And I was telling you yesterday that one of our most popular videos we've had on DaytonInformer.com was a lady who filmed a press coffee shop over in the Oregon District. It was after the big incident in Zanesville where all the wild animals got out, and she was like, what, I can have a bear, but I can't have a couple of chickens to grow some food for my kids? So there seems to be some confusion from different people I talk to. One person says this, one person says that. So I thought I'd come to the source. What is the city of Dayton's policy on keeping hens or chickens at this time?
Okay, well, let me first clarify. In, I think it was 2004, the city of Dayton passed an ordinance which prohibited the keeping of wild and exotic animals in the city of Dayton. So you cannot keep a bear legally in the city of Dayton. Now, in terms of chickens, the city of Dayton, like a lot of jurisdictions, classifies them as agricultural animals or farm animals. This would include pigs and goats. And we allow agricultural animals to be located in the city of Dayton in our park and open space zoning districts. They're not allowed in our residential zoning districts at this point in time.
Okay. Has there been any kind of lobbying of different groups in the city? I've read there's like it's kind of funny, underground chicken, Dayton underground chickens. So I don't know if there's like a chicken resistance in the making out there, but has there been other groups that have been talking to the city about possibly getting hens? It's something I've read about all over the country.
There have been several folks who have requested the ability to keep chickens in the city of Dayton, and what we've suggested to them is that they go out and meet with our various priority boards. They could contact the chairperson of each priority board and arrange for a meeting with the priority board members and discuss with them their idea about changing the zoning code to allow chickens in backyards and under what conditions, and then have a conversation with the community and their neighbors about whether this is a good idea or not, because there are a number of folks who aren't keen about the idea of having chickens in the yard next door to them. And I think if there can be demonstrated broad community support for allowing chickens under certain circumstances, that would be something that we would be willing to look at, but we need to know that there is a lot of community support for changing the zoning code to allow this. It also might make sense to check with our local health department to see if there are any regulations regarding that. And I don't know if our city manager or members of the city commission have particular stands on residential chickens either.
Okay. Any final words on the subject?
That's about it.
You like eggs?
I like eggs, yes.
All right. Excellent. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay.
All right, I'm out here outside of East Dayton. Long time, some would call it an institution, Mom's Diner. And as you can tell, rough times have hit the east side because Mom's Diner is closed. The long-time, long-standing Greasy Spoon Diners in Dayton had many a plate of biscuits and gravy and pancakes and country fried steak before I gave that stuff up. See what's next here in Philadelphia and Easter. We called the number listed on the for sale sign at Mom's and spoke with a woman named Debbie. She said there was no other reason that Mom's was closing other than the fact that Mom has been very ill. That she would like to thank everyone who's checked in and wished her well. She did say as soon as she has some news about a new owners for Mom or any kind of new operation that she'd be telling us. And Debbie and Mom, thank you very much for everything you guys have done over the years. Mom's Diner, an original East Dayton establishment. Sayonara.
And someone told me today that it was spotted now in Trotwood. And I feel, we all feel that this cat is this wild animal needs to be caught, not just for the well, it's for the safety of children and also someone who's working in their yards. And I'm not sure, I haven't heard anything on the news whether this big black panther has been caught or not, but something needs to be done immediately about this wild animal.
All right, speak your mind.
Well, everybody screwed up, Bush and Obama. You guys spent all this money, you should have spent it on nuclear technology. You should have. That's the answer.
Nuclear technology?
Yep.
I gotta spell it.
Should have spent all that money on nuclear power plants. And then everybody wins. You green energy people, you're everybody. You get the best of all the worlds. And we got to get to compete with China too. Don't smile at me like that, man.
Oh no, I'm joining you.
That's 100% truth.
No, you think so?
Yeah.
You think the Japanese would agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Really? People at Fukushima would agree with that?
Yep.
Nuclear power is the answer?
Yeah, they screwed up.
How'd they screw up?
Because they didn't do it right.
It's not a never know about it.
Yeah, everybody thinks they know a lot about nuclear energy, but they don't.
What do you know about nuclear energy?
We got regulations. 'Cause they didn't do it right. Yeah, everybody thinks they know a lot about nuclear energy, but they don't. We got regulations. 'Cause they didn't do it right. Yeah, everybody thinks they know a lot about nuclear energy, but they don't. We got regulations. the Japanese don't. So.
Well, no, actually, the regulations, though, but we've also got a Congress and a government that's trying to get rid of regulations.
Yeah, I know. They're
because
fucking
regulations
idiots.
are like, you know, they interfere with the market.
Everybody's wasting their money on clean energy. It's all a bunch of crap.
Clean
it's
energy?
Complete crap. Yeah, it's all crap. Okay. It takes more energy to make ethanol from corn.
Oh, you're right
than
about that.
you get from the energy
I think
of
you're
the
right
ethanol
about
from
that.
corn.
And people starve.
Yeah, I know. They use up the food supply to make energy inefficient.
If aliens came, if intelligent aliens came to this country and looked at us, and they would say, "Well, you know, these people kind of have their shit together, but they don't. You know, why are they burning coal for energy? Why, like?" I mean, come on. Nuclear energy is the way to go. Like, that's a. I mean, come on. Yeah, some crap happened in Japan, but do your research on it. They screwed up a little bit. Yeah, the Japanese screwed up. I'll buy a Japanese car any day, but they screwed up a little bit. And they had a nuclear meltdown because of a hurricane or a tsunami. But yeah, don't cut this all to pieces. That's all I gotta say.
Oh yeah, believe it.
That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, that's all we have.
That's the place to go.
Right here, street again.
All right, so anybody else that thinks that nuclear energy is not a good idea is a complete and utter.
Feed store, and he goes to the guy behind the counter and goes, "Hey man, you got any nails?" The guy behind the counter's like, "We're a seafood feed store, Duck. We don't sell nails." Duck goes, "Oh good. Got any duck feet?"